Today we welcome a television media expert, someone that's been in the industry for over 20 years now. He's produced engaging food and lifestyle shows before moving on to a channel called Channel UFX, a multilingual music and lifestyle channel where he worked as a producer for over 2 years. His journey continued at Verve Media, creating independent shows and corporate films, after which he founded his own company, Picture Makers, a company that specializes in corporate films and wedding videos. He later joined Big Synergy as an executive producer for the Tamil version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Neengalum, Vellalam or Kodi, on Star Vijay, producing the successful seasons with hosts like Surya and Prakash Raj. Most recently, he served as a creative director to one of those big companies that we've all followed and them all shine for their last 2 seasons of Bigg Boss Tamil, also producing key content segments in earlier seasons. Please join us today in welcoming the one, the only, Praveen Padmanaban. But first I have to go back to the beginning. Where did this interest spark from?
As a college goer, you would have any interest towards any specific industry. Let me burst that bubble first. It is about being able to kind of have a destination and see what you want to figure out. First, college is all about figuring out things, right? Understanding what's available in the market and then choosing one vertical and specializing in it. You've got
to do something.
Yeah, you have to do something. The only aim is to let's work hard. Let's not look at returns immediately. You'll have to know multiple markets. So once you kind of go through all these in very brief periods, you will know what you really can do something in one particular industry.
I completely understand. I get where you're coming from, but I'm asking about where that spark started from.
I think by working with great professionals and great mentors, you develop the inspiration. You can't expect everyone to be inspired always, right? I was never that person. I wanted to make it big. That's the only aim. There are no shortcuts to anything that is going to do you greater good. There's only one way. You be honest in what you're doing and then put in your 100%.
Hard work is the key.
Yeah, hard work is the key. You have to wake up. You have to start running. And what direction you run is what matters.
True. Now, considering you said direction, you went in the direction of visual communication. You got a degree in that. And then you delved straight into television, non-fiction. Why television over radio or cinema?
So I did a bunch of things, I'll tell you. I started my internship with Hindu. I did reporting in the first semester. And then the next consecutive semesters, I interned in the Vijay TV. I was a tape boy, carrying tapes. Labeling tapes is one of the most important things. Then back then it used to be beta tapes, the huge tapes that they insert into the cameras and shoot. So labeling them, camera 1, camera 2, what is the content, when was the shoot done, who's the cameraman, so that when you see the label, you will know everything. That was one of the most exciting things. And then back then when you're a kid, any job given to you, you feel very privileged, right? At least they're treating you important.
It's like a certain level of responsibility that's handed to you.
You have a sense of ownership towards one small thing, but it's still important. So I think that was fun. After that, I also kind of got into the student reporter scheme in Vigadan. They take you in after the exams. So I was a student reporter, student photographer.
Okay.
They give you assignments to go shoot. So right after college, you'll get a call and say, you know what, you have to get there, cover the event, give me the pictures. And
there's also a sense of importance that sort of sets in.
Absolutely. All this was happening parallelly, but television still had 2-3 hours of my time every day. All thanks to the mentors and the bosses that I worked with in Vijay TV.
Now, from the time you've started off, with some of the changes that you've seen as far as television is concerned, if you had to sit and dissect what some of the major things that are the changes as far as skill sets, as far as what's essential for you to be a part of the industry and all that, what are your views on that?
In terms of technology, it's gotten much more easier.
Yeah.
Individuals have become more skill-oriented. What direction do you want to drive your show matters the most. The technology part has completely changed. Again, I would strongly believe that the producers or the senior guys that I've worked with, they always believed in that piece of paper and that pen. Visualize it, write it, and then whether you're able to achieve it or not on ground, that's a different scenario altogether. That's a different learning altogether.
You cross that bridge when you get there, but first you put pen and paper together.
Correct.
Yes.
Even if it's a small trophy that we are handing over to one of the Bigg Boss contestants, for me, I want to be like, visually it has to create an impact, and it also should have a story.
Today, if someone watching this right now wants to get into any other fields that exist today.
I took a gap from television for about 8 years, and they still offered me a job to direct a show called Bigg Boss with Mr. Kamal Hassan. It's not going to fail you. It is about your ideas. It is about what is there on paper. It is about what you're going to present, and primarily, television is an execution job. It is
True.
As much as you write everything, you need to be the smart cookie to just
go on
the road with your camera crew, figure it out, do your food show and get out. You need to get gorilla style and do it, right? And this applies to any show for that matter. For example, you have a talk show and the celebrity doesn't turn up, or the celebrity turns up and denies half of the ideas that you're actually having in paper. You need to have a backup plan.
If you had to practically sort of give someone that's watching this right now to say, how, like if someone was to ask you, sir, how can I get a foot in the door, whether I'm joining television or whether I'm joining a network?
The door is easier. See, for example, what I did was nothing, right? I mean, I could only think visually. I randomly, shamelessly wrote a lot of stupid ideas.
I
was not a daring youngster. I was a very shameless youngster. Thittu pora. Muttalnu solla pora. Avladha. There is nothing beyond that. Na try pannalenu irukka kudadu. I will write down. If you want me to rework, I'll rework. If you want to throw my papers, but I will still write. That's all. I mean, see, frankly, whatever I'm still following the same. I'm just shameless. By experience, you know what you learn. You will clearly know what is going to happen and what will not happen.
What works for you, what doesn't work for you as well.
Whatever works for me only will be on paper.
True.
But what works for the show, what works for the bosses, what works for the celebrity is something that you know only when you pitch it to them. Right? And by experience, what you learn is you try to read people, you try to understand mindset. It is also about screen time, right?
Yeah.
If you put out an idea, that idea should at least give you 5 minutes of content. If it's only going to give you 10 seconds of content, that's useless idea.
I completely get where you're coming from. Money, we all know, is something that's very, very important. Today, more than back in the day, it seems to be on everyone's mind. Dare I say, some people that start off little entitled in their head.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, in today's day and age.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there as well. So, as far as a fresher is concerned, what kind of salaries can someone expect today? What should they expect? What should they not expect? What kind of mindset should they come with as far as money is concerned?
See, we all started off when we were interning. We started off with 2,500 per month with every day's work. And I think keeping the inflation in mind, I think in today's time, 15,000 to 20,000 is what you can start off with. Initial 5-8 years is the investment that you put in. If you want to immediately climb up and start directing a show, it's not going to happen. There are still legends working in the television industry today. You cannot just randomly jump in and say, you know what, I'm a youngster, I'm full of ideas. Your ideas can still fly, but you start off from the core. Be the AD that the show cannot operate without.
Learning on the job.
Yeah,
so in essence, it's not about the money, it's about creating value for yourself.
You throw one idea, and then whether they take it or not, keep throwing, they'll write down. Finally, when you see that happening in the show, that's your reward. Do not expect monetary reward immediately, because this reward is going to take you places and it's going to grow multiple fold.
Actually, that's great, because that brings me straight to my next point. Off the top of your head, name 3 factors that a newcomer needs before approaching something, or when you're trying to find a career in television or in radio or in films. 3 main factors that you need to have as a newcomer.
What I would not look for is talent. Talent is very subjective. What I find talented might not impress you.
True.
What I find useful might be completely useless for you. Be relentlessly hardworking. The luxury days will come. Number 2, have the enthusiasm. I'm not even asking you to be humble. I'm saying be enthusiastic. Be stupid.
Be open, be receiving.
Absolutely.
Just be willing to throw yourself into something. Now, as far as an interview is concerned, if someone was to come to you for an interview, what are 3 specific things that you sort of need to prepare yourself for as a beginner before you go and sit down in front of someone and face that interview?
These days, the more I see, even for Bigg Boss, when we recruit people, I think they are all very well informed about who's the who on Instagram. And the Instagram knowledge is what is kind of vast in their heads. A bit of that is important. To call someone, I think I wouldn't have the knowledge. I wouldn't have the time or energy to go through all the influencer list and see who's doing what. But I think
actually that's a beautiful that's a perfect way to segue for me for my next question, which is, so since you said you can't be going through all of that, name 2 ways that a candidate can stand out. 2 straightforward ways, because let's face it, if I'm a fresher and I'm sitting in front of you, there's 20 freshers you've seen before me, there's 20 more you're going to see after me. The chances of you remembering me are slim to none, right? So what are 2 or 3 things, the top 3 things that I could do, that I could factor into?
You can never get ready for it.
Right.
I don't believe in preparing for interviews, whether you have it or you are willing to learn. The minute you start thinking the opponent is, I'm going to blow away the opponent by speaking so much, I think please understand the opponent has so many years of experience that they can just see through you. When you have this reality check in place, I think this gives you a greater chance to play it at the right meter, and say what you know. Say what you don't know. I think people love it when you say what you don't know. I play around with people when they start talking, saying, I've done a bunch of documentaries in my college. I know this. Okay, show me. And when you see, it's worse than an amateur's work. Yeah. After 3 years of college, this is not what you should be doing. If you wouldn't have shown me, if you wouldn't have said this, I would have still believed in your vision. Now that you've shown me and you've oversold yourself, and that's where the problem is. So don't oversell yourself. Because when people are ready to recruit freshers, they know that you don't know anything. Why are you overselling yourself?
True. It's ultimately the skill set that you're going to develop, but they want to know that you're open to be able to receive, learn, and
all I want to know is this person willing to learn? If I'm going to give him a job, is he committed to it? Will he have that sense of ownership? Whether he's skilled, not skilled, that's something that we'll figure out later. I think that's one thing. Don't oversell yourself. I mean, that's the crux of it.
That's a very valuable piece of feedback, right? Don't oversell yourself. How would you weigh the importance of formal education compared to hands-on experience? I've always wanted to study. When I grew up, I always wanted to study for films. We never had an institution to do that when I was here. But I managed to learn a lot more on the job. So according to you, what for today's freshers, what's more important, coming with knowledge and learning on the job, or whether you coming with knowledge or not on the job is what really matters?
Your education, formal education, is never going to give you the ground level knowledge
for television or for showbiz.
Having said that, any creative industry, including television for that matter, what you require is not just creativity, but the discipline to fall into that creativity. You can sit on an idea for months. You don't have the luxury to do that. Yeah. If tomorrow's a shoot, you're expected to finish your idea by tonight. Not day after tomorrow. So I think formal education will give you the discipline to fall into the bracket of things. You can be one of the most extremely brilliant minds, but you need to follow a timeline. If you don't follow the timeline, your time is gone. That's all. Your idea is in trash.
On the job experience is sort of where...
That's when internships come into place, right? I mean, go to your college, do your formal education, understand how other industries work. Don't regret it later that television is not for me.
The visual medium, this visual space is such a versatile space, You've got... we've got television, you've got web series, you've got films, and then we've got... There's so many more, and I'm sure there's so many more that's opening up. So could you share a little bit about your experience with working in some of these different fields and how different they actually are?
While I was handling the KBC South, Neengalum, Vellalam or Kodi, I think somewhere I've always wanted to be a photographer. And that's been there inside me. And I thought, why not try to tell stories through wedding photography? And that's when, people's eyeballs go up. I'm like, Big Boss? And then what else do you do? I do wedding photography. Wedding photography? That's how it is. So for them, it is about Big Boss, wedding photography. So again, brands establish how much they know is how they...
Again, Big Boss is in their face every single day. Wedding photography and the concept of what you can play with it and what you can do is not sort of in their face.
12 years of running this company, I enjoy shooting films, wedding films. It's like meeting new set of 500 people every day. Coming from my television core experience, what happens is, for me, again, I come from the learning where stories are important. And that's when I could apply that knowledge here and start documenting stories within weddings. From television, I learned storytelling. From weddings, I learned the art of guerrilla style filmmaking, which I applied in OTT. And from OTT again, I go back to television again. How Big Boss happened was, for the first couple of seasons, we only did the profile films of contestants. Like there are 16 contestants entering. We do their introductory films. So from weddings, again, they saw the quality of visuals we produce. So they want us to tell stories of these contestants, the 3-minute AVs that are played out. So my team was very excited about this. So for a couple of seasons, we did that in Tamil. We did that in Kannada Big Boss. So all this was happening. And then finally what happened was, they said, you know what, we want you to direct the weekend episode with Kamal sir. I was able to present my ideas to him. He was kind enough to accept it.
If a fresher had to approach any one of these things, whether it's films, whether it's trying to approach a web series, or it's trying to get into television, is it the same principle that they need to have on the inside to sort of approach each of these things?
Precisely, I mean, even if I would have been someone who wanted to get into photography first, wedding photography primarily, I would still be going and assisting somebody.
It's the best way to learn, I guess.
Understanding lenses, understanding the camera, understanding the speed of work, understanding the checklist of what needs to be done, understanding how to approach clients, how to approach the bride and groom. There's so many things, right? On their wedding day, you don't think like a photographer, you think like their friend. And you try to understand what their mood is. Is the bride tensed? Is the bride relaxed? Does she want more pictures or no pictures?
Yeah.
You think so many things, and then take her out for a portrait.
As far as a resume is concerned, if you had to get really crude about it, if I was a fresher and I had a resume, what are some of the main things I need to have on my resume? Or what would help me stand out?
Let's say somebody is going to hand over 3 sheets of paper just for you to meet them. Would you still go through all 3 sheets? I don't think you have the attention span to read through 3 pages. You keep it minimal. A resume should speak that, I've done only so much, but I want to do more. I'm never the person who's going to be impressed by a 5-pager resume. I'm never going to see it. You'd rather send me one link of your work, I'll be more than happy. Resumes are meant to be kept simpler, impactful.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of resumes in the past. What is one or two that have stood out for you? Or something that you've seen on someone's resume? Like, it's very easy to say, put in your work. But if I'm a fresher and I don't have work, what is something that I can put in there to make sure I stand out from the 3 other people that came into the room before me?
There's a misconception or a myth that if you make a great template of a resume.
No, I'm not talking about template. I'm talking about content.
I'm coming there. I'm coming there. So, don't make your resumes colorful. Okay.
Lesson number 1.
Don't make it colorful. Don't fill it with designs and pictures. I mean, you can show your aesthetic skills elsewhere. Don't leave the resume. The resume is supposed to speak about your work or what you want to do. That's how much it is. Actually, I'm not even interested about your schooling. I'm probably interested about what was your UG or what was your diploma. I'm more interested in the hyperlinks that you're attaching to it.
It's not really about what you put on the paper. I mean, put as minimal as possible, but sort of send out the idea to the person that's interviewing you that I'm open to learning, I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to throw myself into whatever it is that the job will entail.
Yeah. Portfolio and whatever you say matters.
I want to talk about mentorship, because mentorship is very, very important. Yeah, it's a huge part of someone's growing up in whichever industry you're in. How does a fresher go about finding an appropriate mentor, or even lining themselves up with a mentor?
For me, I'm wherever I am because of my mentors.
True.
Without a bunch of people who've shaped me, I think I wouldn't be getting. And the beauty of it is they're still helping us out.
But I think that's sort of part and parcel of the relationship you've built with a mentor.
Precisely. What is that attitude that you're going to present yourself with is what is going to make them trust you and make them invest their time and vision on you. Because the minute they do, they're not going to stop. They're going to keep pushing you constantly, and then you have to run with them. What you give them is what is going to decide, where they're going to keep you. But again, you'll see through them, and you'll know who a mentor is. Right. I don't think there is a strategy or a formula to it.
So now let's get into one section that everyone's talking about today. Half the people, I'm guessing, are shedding views on it without having a complete understanding of it, which is AI. Yeah, you'll hear random things being thrown out today. AI is going to replace jobs, and people are going to lose their jobs, and this is happening, that's happening. I feel there's a lot of information that people haven't quite grasped about AI. So could you shed a little light on that?
AI is going to kill jobs.
Okay. Right.
But it is also going to make your resources more qualified. You need to have real substance to crack a job. That's what AI is doing. AI is not here to destroy you, but AI is here to give you the reality check that if you are not going to work now, I'm going to take over. If you are not a thinker,
it's basically a bigger, badder player that's come into the
absolutely,
field, waiting on you to screw up.
All the things that you were saying that is keeping you busy, AI has taken over. Now your only job is to think and create. If you fail to do that, because you've been in the bubble thinking that you are creating things, but no, you were not. You were only executing what is available around you. You were not creating anything. And AI is so helpful for creators at this point, because with creative people, the problem is you'll have ideas scattered around, and when you want to put it in a template and present it to an organization, like for example, I'm working on a pitch with Amazon now.
Right.
So we're pitching an idea, but that's a script that I've been working on for 2 years, and I've been having ideas, writing down ideas scattered around everywhere. And then when I could finally put all this together in AI, it gives me a structured version of it. It's not AI's idea.
Yeah.
It is my idea.
It is a tool.
Yes. Try to learn the tool properly, but the mind is still yours. The idea is still yours. AI will only format it. It's just a better formatting tool, which helps you get to the corporates.
True.
It also kind of cuts down dependencies. Right? You're a filmmaker, you're a creator. I think AI will help you with tools that is going to give you supportive elements where your ideas are on paper already. You're not just explaining to your DP. You're showing him the image that you have in your mind. So the DP sees it and be like, okay, I'll make this better. I know your idea. I know what you have. I know the palette that you have in mind. I'm going to make this better.
Right. But he's already got an essence of what's in your mind. Otherwise, sometimes explaining to someone is
I mean that
because it's in your head.
What if you're not good at talking? What if you're not good at explaining? You're a great thinker, you're a great writer, but what if you're not good at explaining things? What if you don't understand colors? What if you don't understand lighting and you just say, that's the DP's work, I'm just a creator. This is the mood. I mean, why do you want to be so broad? Be more narrower. AI helps you in narrowing down things.
Quickly, before I move on, where do you see AI going?
It pushes people to work.
Where do you see this balance going in the future as far as television is concerned and OTTs is concerned? Because television is still, this is a very crude view, crude perspective. This is my perspective. But you still have your serials and you still have your shows that the television is trying. But I find boundaries being pushed a lot more on OTT platforms.
OTT platforms are now asking for long version series.
Oh, yeah?
Large format.
Okay.
Now they want 100 episodes per season.
What is your view on what the government or what our country is doing as far as media courses is concerned? Because that's something I had an issue with when I was growing up.
They're not stopping you from doing anything, right? I mean,
they're not stopping you, but I'm talking about the availability of.
There are so many private institutions that are creating diploma courses, right? I mean, so waiting for the government to start specific courses because they have larger things to do. I don't think they're going to start skill-based technical diploma courses or I mean that's a long shot. I don't think we should wait for it as well. I would still stick on to a course that is not too specific.
Okay.
At least in your UG. In your UG, I think you should get a taste of everything because what happens after high school, you don't know anything yet. You're just only liking what you're seeing, but you don't know what it takes to be there. What is the money involved? How much would what is the kind of hierarchy that you will grow up to? How much are you going to make when you get there? So all these things you'll get all these things only the minute you start getting on ground experiences in limited durations with these spaces and industries. Like for example, you should know how much a reporter gets paid after 10 years of experience, how much a bureau head gets paid, what it takes to be a cameraman in a news channel and a cameraman in a features regional television channel. There are so many profiles that will open up to you and then you get to choose. So after your UG, if you want to be specific about one particular skill set, like say cinematography, sound design, editing, or direction, I think there are plenty of options that you can. What is not available at this point in specific and in-depth is screenwriting and script writing as a course.
Right. There are a few private courses that are available by some industry professionals.
Largely a filmmaking course where they teach a bit of everything. I think script writing, screenwriting, and storytelling as a skill set itself is a huge learning curve. I think that needs to be focused on separately.
I'm guessing the essence of whatever you're trying to say is just that you learn a lot on the job. Go there, try and align yourself with a good mentor.
I'm saying after high school, don't jump into one specific thing. It might look all fancy when you look at it from outside, but again, it's the most primitive years that you're going to invest in that one skill set.
Go into it with the idea of learning.
Go, see everything, pick and choose one thing, and then specialize in it.
Okay.
That's a much better way to pave your career, because that's what I did.
Now, if you were an 18-year-old fresher looking to break into the television industry, what are the top 5 things you would absolutely do to get started off?
I will stick on to internships. I will say stay curious.
Okay.
Definitely hardworking. Give it all, at least for the first 5 years, give it all that you have. After 5 years, during the 5 years, if you're not inspired by it, or if you don't see a future, if you're not excited about this career, shift immediately. And then again, working with the right people, he will open new doors for you about the entire industry, and you will see that industry in a fresh perspective. So I think more than anything, seeing it from
pick a mentor that's successful.
That's I wouldn't even say successful. At least in the path of becoming successful.
A mentor that's moving forward and not complaining about life, essentially.
Complaining is a disease. It is infectious. It will affect you from working. So stop doing that. Choosing your boss, be excited about your job. I think every day, don't push yourself. Be very excited about it. It's fun. The job is fun. Whatever you do, it's fun. 3 years' time, if you do not like it taking you somewhere that you want to get,
switch.
If it doesn't inspire, if it is not inspiring, switch, change your job, shift the boss. That could change things. Shift the company, because company to company, brand to brand, platform to platform have different visions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time off to be here with us. Well, that's all for this insightful and very engaging episode of Past, Present and Future, the Impacteers podcast. I hope it was really informative for you. For more such content, do follow us on all our social media platforms. And up until next time, stay informed.